the Apple or Google Play Store. For direct links, visit 1045ESPN.com. Tigers, Saints, Southeastern Conference. All in one place. LouisianaSports.net. No paywalls, no article limits. It's just the coverage the Louisiana sports fans want. Bookmark it today. LouisianaSports.net.
Louisiana's big weather can mean big damage to your roof. Our team offers free inspections and guarantees your satisfaction. Call 756-8603 or visit riceandroofing.com.
Just to be on the safe side.
Why do billion-dollar insurance companies regularly delay and deny valid claims? Because that's how they got to be billion-dollar insurance companies. If you've been injured, I'd like to help.
Spencer Callahan, call 387-2323. LA filing number.
Now, The Hunt Palmer Show.
This is a catastrophe.
You are now listening to The Hunt Palmer Show. Brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
That's what I wished for when I blew out my candle.
Locking down the middle of the day. Live from the Raising Cane studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
The floor is yours.
Welcome in! Hunt Palmer coming to you from the Raising Cane studio downtown in the capital city on this Wednesday. That means we're brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. About half the work week in the rearview mirror. Thanks for hanging out with us on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Jordan Kitchens, Cassie Spazzali back there on the ones and twos. We've got a lot to get to. It's What If Wednesday. Can't imagine where y'all are going to go with that, huh? But if you got some what ifs, you can hit me up on Twitter at HuntPalmer88. We'll take him out of the Bayou Ford chat on YouTube as well. Got to get to SEC football power rankings. Brandin Cooks and the Saints have parted ways. I want to talk about the money aspect of this LSU football coaching search and what makes sense and where you need to put your funds. And does it make sense to go chase Lane Kiffin, or do you need to hire a very young person and maybe pay him less? Do you need to do what the governor said? There's a lot of financial aspects into this, and I want to talk about that in hour number 2. So we got lots to do. Let's crank it up with our Genesis opening drive.
It's time for Hunt's Opening Drive, presented by Genesis of Baton Rouge.
Okay, y'all, I'll be real with you. The SEC Coaches Teleconference on every Wednesday starting at 10 a.m. is a snooze fest. It is probably the most boring portion of my entire week. No one ever says anything. It's cliches, it's quick, it's coach speak, it's boring. However, Lane Kiffin just met with the media on the teleconference, and it was not boring because it was a horde of reporters hurling tomatoes at him, and essentially he just stood there and wore them all. Like, it was wild to listen to. We've got the cuts. We're going to get into them, and I'm going to give you kind of my thoughts on everything that went into this teleconference. It was about 13 minutes, so let's get into it. The first question, and keep in mind for our perspective, we just got these cut as fast as we possibly could because it just happened. I don't know which of these have the questions in them, so I'll set the question up. Sometimes I'll set it up and the question will follow. We don't have that. I don't know yet which ones have the questions in them, so bear with me if we repeat. But the first thing we'll talk about is has Ole Miss asked him for clarity on his situation moving forward?
Yeah, I'm gonna stay on what I've done for 6 years, which isn't talk about other jobs and that situation. And Keith and I've seen him twice already today. Keith and I have a great relationship. We communicate daily on a lot of things, and I love it here. And it's been amazing. And we're in a season that's the greatest run in the history of Ole Miss at this point. So I think it's really exciting. I think Saturday night was amazing. So I'm just living in the moment, and our players are too. I see their joy about the practice season, where they're at, and have so much on the line. It's just awesome to be a part of.
So that's the Kiffin's family line. I'm not talking about other jobs. I love it here. Our players are doing awesome. That's what he has stuck with instead of answering all the questions that he's been asked. But questions were going to keep coming, and they did. So do you plan to coach the Egg Bowl next week?
Yeah, Lane, do you expect to coach next week as you're preparing for this game?
Do you know something I don't know?
I'm asking you.
Do I expect to coach next week? Why would I not expect to coach next week? I expected to coach in Florida too. So I don't even understand the question how I would not expect to coach next week. Why would I be at work?
Is there any reason you wouldn't see yourself, any situation in which you wouldn't think you'd be coaching this team moving forward beyond next week?
No, I don't. We're game planning. We just practice. I don't even understand how that would happen. So you must be missing something.
That's Lane losing the media savvy there. Like, you don't need to talk. Everyone knows what's going on. You don't need to talk down. You don't need to just make things up. If you want to not answer the question, That's perfectly fine. You don't have to answer any of these questions, but don't create a bigger issue than already exists. And that's kind of what you do there when you act exacerbated, criticize the question, say, I don't even know what the question is. That's not a great look from Lane there. You move on. This is number 7, Jordan. Maybe coaching somewhere else before the postseason starts.
Is there a possibility you could take another job before the postseason?
I'm not speaking on other jobs.
Not speaking on other jobs. That's a fine answer. That's perfectly fine. Here's an interesting question that I did not see coming, but y'all may have saw the storm on Twitter last night. There was a political commentator that said that the governor's putting his nose into LSU's coaching business. He was on the phone with Lane Kiffin for 2 hours, and Matt Moscona, who's here, said that didn't happen. I was in the event last night with the client, and the governor said, I'd just like a new coach by Christmas, and Matt Moscona knows more. He's here. You can talk to him as a joke. He did not say I was on the phone for Lane Kiffin with 2 hours, but the question was asked from Neil McCready of the Ole Miss 24/7 site. Did you talk to the governor?
Lane, there are conflicting reports. I was going to give you a chance to set the record straight that you spoke with the governor of Louisiana here pretty recently. Did that or did that not happen?
Yeah, I wouldn't comment on that either way, so I'm not.
Look, man, that seems like a really easy no to me if you didn't talk to the governor of Louisiana. I can't see a situation where Lane Kiffin's talking to the governor of Louisiana, so it just seems like an easy no if he hadn't spoken to the governor. I don't know if he's spoken to the governor or not. It would make sense to me if the governor is a public figure, has interjected himself into LSU's athletic program in the last 3 weeks. If you're considering taking that job, which we all know that he is, it would make sense that you might want to talk to the governor and say, hey, are you going to stay out of my way if I come over there? Are you going to try to fire the athletic director if we lose a game and you don't like my contract? Like, that's a reasonable conversation that he could have had. I don't know if that conversation was had or not, but that just felt like a really easy no for Kiffin that he didn't take. Wilson Alexander then jumped in and said, okay, well, what about the trips to Gainesville and Baton Rouge?
Lane, what did your family learn on its trips to Gainesville and Baton Rouge that could be informative as you make a decision?
Yeah, like I said, I'm not getting on any speculation or stories of things having to do with other jobs. I've said that about 10 times, but I understand. I got to ask him.
Fine answer. Completely fine. It's a perfectly reasonable thing to send your family to those two places. Perfectly reasonable thing not to answer the questions. So that's kind of going through all the deflection that Lane Kiffin did, even though I didn't like the indignation with the, are you sure you're going to coach the Egg Bowl? Just say, yeah, I'm going to coach the Egg Bowl. So this is where it gets, there's a little bit more depth to the answers at the end. This is what I was building toward. And this is, I think, the most important factor in all of this surrounding Lane Kiffin. The number one factor in this entire situation, I believe to be the calendar. If Ole Miss was 8-4 right now, I believe Lane Kiffin would already be in agreement with one of these two jobs and he would be gone after the Egg Bowl. But they're not. They're in the playoff. Even if they lose to Mississippi State, I think they're in the playoff. I can come up with a scenario where they're not, but I think they're in the playoff. That's hard to walk away from. I told you yesterday on the show, that is the crux of this entire thing. I think he thinks Florida and LSU are both better jobs than Ole Miss. I will hear your argument if you think his situation in Oxford is better than the one in Florida. I will hear your argument if you say that LSU's political situation and their funds and tied up in Brian Kelly, all that's not very attractive. Like, you can absolutely debate whether or not each situation is better. I think Lane Kiffin thinks Florida and LSU are both better than Ole Miss. That's my opinion. And I think that the calendar is causing this issue. So the question was asked to him, was this inevitable that a coach with a team in the playoff was going to be facing questions, had nothing to do with football because he might jump jobs? And this is what Lane Kiffin had to say. He finally opened up a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, if a team wanted a playoff coach, this was bound to happen. This is really, I'm just looking at it as outside. I'm not even talking about myself. I'm just looking at it as like you guys are, like, there's a systematical problem. And it used to be players were in it, and they still are a little bit with the portal timing and playoffs and all those things. And look at the Penn State quarterback a year ago and, you know, not letting him play and him having to go in. And I think I would hope everybody in that situation was like, man, that's a systematical issue, calendar issue. So yeah, the subject that you're referring to is probably, until something changes, going to be an issue for years.
That to me is a real answer, and it makes a lot of sense. I don't think anyone in Oxford, Baton Rouge, Gainesville, or nationally thinks this is a good thing for the sport. that a coach who is in the middle of potentially the greatest season in the history of the school, who is weighing other options professionally, has to take that out on his players, his assistant coaches, his fan base, right here smack in the middle of it. Used to be a time where, hey, coach might get approached for a job, an offensive coordinator somewhere. Bo Pelini took the Nebraska job before coaching against Ohio State. But that's not a huge problem for the sport because signing day wasn't until February. He could put a staff together in January, hit the ground running after an early January bowl game for the national championship in a game he wanted to coach in, and you just move on with your life. He can't move on in his heart because he's got a team he'd really like to coach, I think. And that, I think, was a genuine answer. And we'll play this by talking about this process and whether or not it's flattering to be considered for Florida, who's won 2 national championships in the last 20 years and has won 4, LSU, who's got 3 national championships in the last 20-plus years. Is it flattering to be considered by those teams, or is it overwhelming as you try to coach your team? This is what Lane said.
Doesn't feel good on this call. Somehow it's got spun really negatively. I said it before. If programs want your coach, okay, that should be looked at as an amazing thing and a great thing by your fans. So if programs want your coach because you're 10-1 and whatever, we've run 3 10-win seasons in a row, which has never been done at Ole Miss before. Is that a good thing that other programs want your coach because your program's experienced success it's never had? Or would you rather be 5-6 or 6-5 or something right now and no one wants your coach? I would look at it from that perspective.
And he just misses the mark there. It's just a bad answer for his current situation. It just is. You can't expect Ole Miss fans to just go, man, I'm so happy we're 10-1 and we're in the best situation we've ever been in, and the entire thing's been blown up and nobody is asking him about the team, and all the players are asking what he's doing, and all the coaches are asking what he's doing, and all the fans are asking what he's doing, and we're supposed to just sit back and go, well, we're 10-1, we should just be happy with that. No, no one in a power 4 position. Yeah, I'm sure Tulane is thrilled to be where they are, and maybe Ole Miss wants our coach, but we might make the playoff because that's just as good as Tulane can do. But like Ole Miss is not just going to sit there and go, well, good thing our coach is good and everybody else wants him and he might leave in the middle of a playoff run in the greatest season in history. We'll just sit there and be happy with it. Like, that's not realistic. It's not real life. And he, again, does not have to answer any of these questions. He could sit there, and it wouldn't be comfortable, but he could take that and say, is it flattering or is it overwhelming? And go, yeah, I'm just focused on what I'm doing here, and we're getting ready for Mississippi State. And then just stop. But instead, he goes on the attack of Ole Miss's fans. He attacks their fans. And all I'm saying from this seat right here is, man, it just doesn't appear to me like he's trying to be simpatico with Ole Miss at all. I think he wants to coach this team through the playoffs and then leave. But it's not going to be an option. And that he continues he shows restraint and shows restraint and shows restraint, and then he just loses it. I'm not going to answer questions about other jobs. I'm not going to answer questions about other jobs. I'm not going to answer questions about other jobs. But, I mean, look at this. I mean, you should be happy that I got you where I am right now. You should be thrilled that somebody wants your coach. You could be 5-6. Like, that's not realistic, Lane. Come on, man. And, like, this might be the coach of my alma mater in a couple of weeks. And trust me, he puts that purple and gold visor on, I'm all for it. I just pulled a 180. I didn't like Brian Kelly when he was at Ole Miss. I've always kind of liked Lane, but I can criticize his answers in this setting. This is not, like, something that he couldn't have expected. He knew on the off week when there's not a game to prepare for where he's got to sit in front of a telephone for 10 minutes to any media that want to push the button, he's going to get questions about this time and time and time again, and he just couldn't pull back. And to put a bow on this, that answer to me, where he says, y'all should just be happy that you're 10-1 and live in the moment, that's adversarial to me. That is antagonizing to me. If he wants to leave for LSU or Florida, that is absolutely his right, for sure. You think that's a better gig? Go take it. Lots of money? Awesome. But you don't need to tell the Ole Miss fans, like, just sit down and be quiet. I got you here. Be happy. This is great. Don't worry about all the other stuff that's going on, the entirety of the college football news cycle. Don't pay attention to any of that. It's cool. It's just not reality. And that's one of the issues with Lane, is that sometimes he just does not read the room very well. And, like, none of this that I'm talking about, y'all know where I come from. You know where I sit. You know where my allegiance is. I hope LSU does hire Lane Kiffin because I think he's a great coach. But I'm here to analyze the situation, and that's all it is right now is a situation, and I just don't know that he handled that very well when he knew it was coming. So my thoughts, I'm sure we'll get some more as we continue to move forward. We're going to take a timeout. When we come back, Graham Hall, who covers Florida, going to give me his thoughts from Gainesville because we went to Oxford on Monday. You've gotten our thoughts from here in Baton Rouge. You're probably around here in Louisiana if you're listening to the show. What are they thinking in Gainesville at this point? We'll talk to Graham Hall next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Highland Insurance Group, HighlandIG.com is that website. Look, renewal time is just about here if you're a January commercial insurance renewal. There's still a little bit of time to get a second set of eyes on that for renewal. If you're a little bit nervous about what that number might look like or you're not sure what your options may be, you're looking for a second opinion, let the Highland Insurance Group audit your program, understand what your risks are, what your risk tolerance is, and put together a program that's tailored to you. They're an independent broker, means they've got contract with dozens of different carriers. They can make sure that you're placed at the right price for the right coverage for your business. They've got clients in all kinds of lines of work, and they're happy to help you with that. So if you've got a January renewal, December 17th is not a good time to start looking at that. Right now, it's November 19th. Give Jonathan Carbo and his team at the Highland Insurance Group a call and let them get a second set of eyes on that January renewal. They're online at HighlandIG.com. It's the Highland Insurance Group online at HighlandIG.com.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Nicely done, ice cubes.
With all the delicious chicken finger options, it was an impossible decision.
How about a box combo? Good. Now what can I get for you?
No, I want a Caniac combo with extra cane sauce, no slaw, 2 extra toast, and a half sweet tea, half lemonade.
Celebrate the holidays with Raising Cane's chicken fingers. One love.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe. My whole team on wildin'.
I'm Lawyer Locke Meredith. If you're battling an insurance company because of a wreck not your fault and they're not calling you back or being fair, whether you hire us at all, give us a call, 272-5555, or email Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates. You have nothing to lose.
Hello, I'm Collins Meredith. If you've been injured on the job, you likely have a workers' compensation claim, but you may also have a tort claim which opens up significant recovery rights not normally available for a work injury. If this is you, call us or come see us at Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. Propane water heaters are very cost efficient, and the savings are even greater with a tankless propane water heater. We all know that Louisiana propane is a safe and environmentally friendly fuel. So why not go green while you save some green? I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and for more information, visit louisianapropane.com.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Flight by Yingling is raising the bar by crafting the next generation of light beer. With only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories, this is premium.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
Wednesday show is brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. On Monday, we chatted with Michael Katz, who covers Ole Miss. You certainly heard our perspective on this circus in the Southeastern Conference. Let's go to Gainesville and get the Florida perspective of it from Graham Hall, covers Florida for the 24/7 Sports Network. Graham, thanks for the time. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. It's my pleasure to be here and talk all things Florida, coaching search, Lane Kiffin, you name it. It's always a pleasure, guys.
Look, it's what's the energy in Gainesville right now? Like, what's the vibe?
Yeah, the majority of the focus is on the coaching search rather than paying attention to back-to-back rivalry games for Florida to end the season. Sitting here at 3-7, most people have turned towards the future, from the fans to, I think you could say, some with the players as well, the season not going the way they wanted. And I think that there's a little bit of anxiety regarding what Lane Kiffin's decision could be. Obviously, the back-to-back visits from members of his family to Gainesville, first on Sunday and then Baton Rouge on Monday. I think that Florida is, the fan base at least, is a little bit anxious about what is going to happen because LSU has the resources. It's a coveted job, just like you could make a case for the University of Florida being, but LSU has obviously been to the mountaintop more recently than Florida has. The Gators haven't won a championship since 2008. And this is a critical hire for Florida's administration. You can live with Lane Kiffin staying in Oxford. It doesn't mean he necessarily failed. You could have offered him everything he wanted. And he just chose to stay in a place where he has them on the precipice of making the college football playoff and potentially going 11-1 if they can beat Mississippi State next week, which will be one of the best seasons in program history up there in Oxford. But you can't live with him going to LSU. That would be seen by Florida's athletic department as a failure in the eyes of many Florida fans. And I don't know how accurate that would be to gauge it because, quite frankly, they're two different programs with different athletic departments and resources. But Florida fans are so invested in landing Lane Kiffin that almost anyone but him being the next head coach in Gainesville would be perceived as a failure. So it is a very interesting time right now. There's some anxiety coupled with a good bit of confidence from those within the program. We haven't heard anything to suggest that Florida's athletic department feels uneasy about their pursuit of Lane Kiffin. They have talked with people in his camp about making sure that he has the NIL resources that he needs. He's obviously familiar with Gainesville, having gone on his first date with his ex-wife, Layla, at Ben Hill Griffin Stadium, is a guy who is familiar with the state of Florida. His son is a fan of the Gators. I think people have seen those photos on social media of him rocking Florida gear, even when his dad has been the coach at Ole Miss. So fans are kind of just in a holding pattern right now, waiting to see how this thing shakes out. And everyone is kind of waiting for Lane Kiffin to make his mind up, which, as everyone knows who has followed Lane Kiffin, that could change daily, which makes for a really riveting situation right now.
Look, from the LSU perspective, LSU and Florida were in the same hiring market 4 years ago. The time before that, when Ed Ogeron was hired, LSU and Texas were kind of going head-to-head. Was there a reaction in Gainesville when Brian Kelly was fired, and did that do anything to the confidence level or the apprehension in terms of who the Gators might get as compared to LSU?
I think Florida fans, just like a lot of LSU fans, saw that Brian Kelly and LSU was just not a match made in heaven like many people thought it was going to be 4 years ago. I think Florida fans felt a little bit better when they, quite frankly, saw the discord and some of the hiccups, I guess I could say, that have happened in the post-Brian Kelly firing, from the governor to some of the comments made, the parting of ways with the athletic director, Scott Woodward, to some of the comments made about the coaching market. I think Florida fans felt better about some of the statements that were made and not really having the governor's influence weighing into this process whatsoever. Now, things have changed in the past 48 hours, I think, with representatives of Kiffin's family going to Baton Rouge, thinking that they're going to make probably a more lucrative contract offer to Lane Kiffin than Florida would. Not that it's going to be significant, but I do think you could see LSU have a little bit stronger of a financial offer. Most Florida fans have told themselves that Lane Kiffin has made his money. It's not going to come down to financials for him necessarily. It's about where he thinks he can win at the highest level and be able to balance that work-life, quite frankly, balance that he is looking for. He wants some privacy. He wants to be able to do hot yoga. He wants to go out in public and not be bothered. He wants to do things his way. whether that's limiting speaking tours, not really being that spokesman on the road that you've seen head coaches be when they go around on the spring speaking tour every single year. He's going to weigh those factors, and he wants to be considered in the conversation of the Ryan Days, the Nick Sabans of the world. And he wants to, when you potentially talk about a program defining coach, he wants to be in that conversation, whether it's at LSU, Ole Miss, or Florida. So they felt a little bit more uneasiness in the last couple of days, certainly, after it looked like for the last month that LSU was kind of mismanaging this search. Now it's kind of looking like a little bit more of an even playing field. And a lot of Florida fans who have lost confidence in the athletic department's ability to make the right hire and outspend the competition are probably sitting here a little bit anxious right now on a Wednesday afternoon.
When you look at the infrastructure at Florida, from the athletic director to the collective to the revenue sharing to the facilities, is there a sense that Florida is with the times? I know that the world is different than it was 10 years ago. LSU's fought that battle. Really, everyone has. How do you feel Florida is set up as far as the infrastructure goes to cultivate a winning football program?
Over the last 2 years, they've become much more, I think, formal and with the times, I guess you could say, with the NIL era, transfer portal era, than they were a couple years ago. I mean, the Jaden Rashada saga was such a stain on Florida's initial NIL efforts. It led to a changing of the name, going from the Gator Collective to Florida Victorious, an ousting of several people involved in that. And they really have more qualified people in charge now who understand the market, work with NIL, work with boosters, donors, and help provide NIL opportunities for athletes. So if you'd asked me 2 years ago, I would have said, oh man, this thing needs a lot of work. But right now it's in line. And now, are they as a top 5 NIL collective? Are they with the Oregons and the Ohio States of the world? No, but they're in the top 15. They're able to compete annually for players. They've done a good job with revenue sharing. There's a lot more continuity and cooperation between Florida's athletic department, the head coach, and the booster collective. They're all on the same page. And I do think that it's worth noting that you had seen a desire to invest in the football program wane a little bit as the results were not there during the Napier era. A lot of those boosters have come back on board, from what I've heard, have promised significant 7-figure sums, so that whoever is the head coach, which they, from what I talked to, most likely want it to be Lane Kiffin, there's no concern that he won't have the resources in Gainesville to be able to do what he did in Oxford, land top 5 transfer portal classes for each of the last 4 years. And they've tried to sell his camp on, you will be in one of the most talent-rich states, just like Louisiana has done, I'm sure. You'll be in one of the most talent-rich states in the country, where the high school recruiting will be a lot better and easier for you than it was in Oxford. So they've figured that piece out. Even if the Rashada thing is what a lot of people think of when they think of the NIL efforts at Florida, it's a lot more professional than it was just 2 years ago.
What's the confidence level in Gainesville now? And I guess to piggyback on that question, do you think that Lane Kiffin will be the next coach at Florida?
I think there's a really solid chance. I put it at 70% earlier today. I think that is absolutely a realistic possibility. Now, things can change. Get back to me tomorrow and I may give you a different percentage. I think that there's a lot of confidence. They've identified him as being the guy for not just the past month. You go back to last year when these conversations about Billy Napier were ongoing. Many people were floating the name Lane Kiffin. Florida's athletic department has come around. They're largely in favor of it happening, and they have confidence that it's going to happen. I think that the athletic department also views it as the safest hire that Florida could make, because, there's always a revisionist history in college football, but in 4 years, if Lane Kiffin doesn't work out at the University of Florida, no one's going to sit there, or if they do, they're incorrect. No one's going to sit there and say, well, this is a bad hire. It's not a bad hire whatsoever. It's probably the safest one you could make, where if it just doesn't work out, no one's blaming the athletic department unless there's a drop-off in resources or something else happens. So my confidence level, like I said, is 70%. Also, I think it's factored in that Florida hasn't really, if they do have one privately, it hasn't come out publicly. No one really knows what Florida's backup plan is, which, like I said, is kind of a precarious position to be in, because you've put all your chips into one basket. And if you don't get your main guy, you're going to have to pivot here right before early signing day or potentially after early signing day and make another hire. And I think most people are so invested in Kiffin that if it's not him, they're going to be disappointed either way. Even if you land a Lincoln Riley or, someone like a Cliff Kingsbury or one of the top coordinators out there like Will Stein or Glenn Schumann, most people are so invested and have printed shirts and started talking about, oh, we're getting Kiffin. And if it doesn't happen, they're going to be disappointed. And if it's a coordinator, they're going to have to be what they have been for the past decade. They're going to have to stay patient rather than being immediately re-energized by having a guy, a 50-year-old Lane Kiffin here, to try and, quote-unquote, save this program.
Feels like the folks in Gainesville and the folks in Baton Rouge are feeling very similar about everything that's going on here. They don't hear a lot of backup plans. I hear a lot of confidence, and we'll see how this whole thing shakes out. Graham Hall covers the Gators for the 24/7 Sports Network. Good enough to give us some time here on this Wednesday. Thanks, Graham.
Pleasure's all mine. Y'all take care out there.
Sure will. It's interesting that you hear him talk and you listen to the folks out of Baton Rouge, and everybody's kind of got their thoughts on it, and nobody is rubber stamping anything. It feels like the confidence level in Gainesville and Baton Rouge is pretty high. It feels like the tension in Oxford is extremely high, and I don't know. It just feels like it's untenable in Oxford unless he just wakes up one morning and goes, I'm staying at Ole Miss, baby, and then signs a contract. The longer it drags on, the worse things feel in Oxford based on everything I'm listening to and reading there from northern Mississippi. Interesting perspective from Gainesville. It's What If Wednesday. We'll do that next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Genesis of Baton Rouge. GenesisofBatonRouge.com is the website. Every car that's on the lot is online at GenesisofBatonRouge.com. Go by and see them. Airline at Piku. If you're looking to rent for Thanksgiving next week, maybe for Christmas coming up in a little bit over a month, going on a family vacation, don't want to put the miles on your ride, but you'd like to get behind the wheel of a Genesis, it's a great opportunity. I promise you, you'll be impressed. It is a luxury brand at a reasonable price, and you'll sense that luxury brand, style, comfort, features, all that if you rent a Genesis from the folks at Genesis of Baton Rouge. They're on Airline at Piku, but you can check out that entire inventory right there at Genesis of Baton Rouge. It's a great and useful website. It's got the inventory there. It's got all the pictures, all the bells and whistles, even pricing as well. So reach out there at GenesisofBatonRouge.com. Go see them. Airline at Piku. It's Genesis of Baton Rouge.
Attention diesel mechanics. River Parish Contractors has an immediate full-time opening with benefits. Valid licenses and TWIC card is required to apply. Call or text Big Jake today at 985-479-9858 or go to rpcontractors.com and click on Apply Now. Come be part of the team that values hard work, has a high standard of excellence, and delivers projects on time and safely. River Parish Contractors. Let's get building.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
My father, J.B. Falgu, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even JB could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of JB Falgu.
Supreme Jasmine is premium American-grown rice. From local farms to your table, every grain is supreme. Pick up a bag of Jasmine or any other of our Supreme American rice.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Nicely done, ice cubes.
I'm Mitchell Meredith with Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates. We take great pride in educating our clients about their rights. Whether you're injured at work or while you drive, call our office at 272-5555. Knowledge is power, and you should know your rights after an injury.
Hi, I'm Sean Fagan of Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates. When insurance companies have been unfair, we've never been afraid to go to trial. Fighting hard to protect your rights, we never settle a case out of convenience. We only settle when it's right for you. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show. You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show. Brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
Wednesday shows brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. Shout out to the folks at Renaissance. Got a lot to do moving forward here on the rest of the show. Saints and Brandin Cooks have parted ways. They've also made a move at wide receiver a little bit earlier. I want to talk about the money aspect of this head coaching hire for LSU, Lane Kiffin or not. J.D. Pickell is going to be with us coming up at 2:15. Got SEC football power rankings to get to. Might get in some LSU basketball from last night. A real thrill for me to be on the call with Chris Blair courtside last night. First time I'd been involved in basketball. A little different animal than baseball. A lot of downtime in baseball, kind of chatting. And basketball, you got something to say, you better get it said before the ball crosses half court again. So it was fast-paced. It was a lot of fun, and LSU got a win over Alcorn last night. So we may get to some of that as we move on, but right now it's kind of all coaching search all the time. We'll get to some Saints coming up in 10 minutes. Right now, though, it's What If Wednesday.
Time, space, reality. It's more than a linear path. Where a single choice can branch out into infinite realities. Follow me and ponder the question. What if?
All right, let's start it off. Well, I guess more Lane Kiffin talk. What if Kiffin would have been here as Coach O's OC? Do we still win in 2019 with the talent that we had here?
It's interesting because obviously the first OC hire was Matt Canada, and it was a disaster. Yeah. I think Matt Canada is a pretty good offensive coach. He was an NFL offensive coordinator. He was the National Assistant of the Year at Pittsburgh before he came to LSU. Like, he's had success. He and Ed Ogeron did not jive. They got into a screaming match apparently at the halftime of the Troy game. He was told not to use any more motion, which was like the main pillar of the Canada offense. They lost to Troy that night. So that just kind of went sideways. But, like, yeah, the dominoes that had to fall, like Ensminger had to go in, and he did some things well. And then you had Joe Brady being brought in because Ensminger didn't know the spread. So like, to tell you, like, a long story short answer to this, if Kiffin comes in and is able to run his offense, like, LSU's offense would have been really, really good.
Yeah.
But how long would Lane Kiffin have been here? If he gets that LSU talent and then he puts a bunch of points on the board for 2 years, like, he's going to get a head coaching job. I can't put those years together, like what job would have come open, but like he would have left pretty quickly to become a head coach. It would have been like his stay at Florida Atlantic, where he was there for 3 years, won 2 conference championships, and then jumped to take the head coaching job at Ole Miss. He would have been here for a couple of years and then would have gone and taken probably another SEC head coaching job. So yeah, it probably derails 2019. It almost certainly derails 2019.
Well, speaking of taking a head coaching job, does he take over as head coach in 2022? If Lane Kiffin was still here, obviously.
I don't think you would have been here still. Yeah. And maybe O doesn't get fired. Like, I don't know. It's tough. Like, I guess that's the point of the exercise. Yeah. I think the answer is no. I think the answer is if Lane Kiffin comes here with Ed Ogeron, that he eventually gets another head coaching job and doesn't come back here. Yeah. But that's my guess.
Okay, so what if Lane goes to Florida?
I think that's really good for Florida. I think that's a really good fit there, for that awful term that I hate, because I think he's a good fit everywhere. But Florida demands offense. Like, it's just something that's in their DNA because of Urban and Spurrier. So I think that he would win there. I think he's a really good coach, and I think he's going to win and score points wherever he goes right now. Ole Miss, Florida, LSU. But if you're going to what if he goes to Florida, I think Ole Miss takes a big step back. People in Oxford will not say that. They'll say the Grove Collective is great. We have a really good alignment here. Our athletic director is awesome. Our fan base is bought in. If Lane leaves and spurns us, then we're going to galvanize even more funds and we'll be even more together. Fact of the matter is that no one has done what Lane Kiffin has done. And that just means it's going to be really difficult for the next guy to step in and keep that up. I didn't say that Ole Miss would go back into the dark age. I wouldn't say they go right back to the end of the Ogeron era, the end of the Nutt era, the Matt Luke era, but they're going to take a step back. They're not going to be a 10-win program year in and year out without Lane Kiffin, in my opinion. And if LSU doesn't get Lane Kiffin, you're going to have to go find somebody else. And it's, I'm sure, a position that LSU understands it can find itself in, but I feel like there's a lot of confidence in the purple and gold right now that this is going to be the number one target, and this is the guy that they want to bring in. So I don't have a good answer for who LSU would go to next, but I think if you went to Florida, that would hurt Ole Miss badly. It would help Florida a lot, and LSU would be scrambling a little bit.
It's funny how we just had the Florida guy on. It's kind of the same thing going on. LSU feels, we're going to get him. We're so confident. He just said the same thing about Florida, how they feel so confident that they're going to get Lane Kiffin as well, too. So, but in the end of the day, what if Lane stays at Ole Miss instead?
He's going to have to mend some fences. He needs some PR.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And they're going to have to get a contract worked out that says you can't do this in November anymore.
Yes.
But if he stays at Ole Miss, they'll be really good. They'll be really good. He's got a good thing going there. And I think that they've got a lot coming back for next year's team that would likely come back to play for him.
Yeah.
I don't see, a coordinator that's immediately going to jump. And so I feel like LSU and Florida will kind of have to tuck their tails a little bit and go figure something else out. But I think Ole Miss becomes a national player if Lane Kiffin stays there for another 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, they got to. The proof is in the pudding. So what if Brian Kelly shows up to his son's senior night? How loud will the boos be?
They would be significant. They would be significant.
I'm gonna boo through the TV.
That's an amazing what if, not one I had considered at all. Kenzel has made some comments in Twitter DMs to some Barstool personalities.
Oh, really?
I didn't even know that. I didn't even realize that he was a senior on this team. Obviously, he doesn't play, but that would be something if Kenzel Kelly went out there and then Brian Kelly was out there at midfield, in a green polo. Who's Western Kentucky? So yeah, green polo, and that would be something else. Something tells me you wouldn't have a Kenzel jersey on with the visor. That would be.
Hey, if Brian Kelly, if he was really down for the cause, he's going to show up and he's going to have this whatever you want on the sideline. You got to show up. Same thing. And when they boo you, you wave at the crowd. Just wave at the crowd. If he was true to his colors, you got to wave at the crowd.
In the Bayou 4 chat, Brian Burgess says, what if LSU men's basketball doesn't make the NCAA tournament? Will man lose his job? There's pressure on you to win. That's 4 years. That's enough time to find a team to make the NCAA tournament. So they're scoring a lot of points right now. Mike Nwoku looks really good on the block. I like the way De'Don Thomas plays at point guard. Their defense was bad last night. Their rebounding was bad last night. But they got to the foul line, which they've done a lot. They're overwhelming terrible teams right now. Alcorn State's terrible, and they overwhelmed them last night. But if you don't get it to the finish line here and get into the tournament, that's. I don't think anybody in that basketball program would look at you and say, 4 years is not enough time to get things figured out. This is the first year they've had a significant financial contribution. And I think if they got a significant financial contribution every single year, the expectations should be higher. I think he was playing with a lesser stack of chips than most of the teams in the SEC the last couple of years. It's closer this year. I'm hopeful they can get it done. But you're not learning anything right now when they've got Nwoku going out there and scoring 29 points on a bunch of 6'6", 180-pound guys.
Yeah.
He had 70 pounds on 2 of the post players from Alcorn last night.
That's
it's very difficult for me to sit here and break down that game when it's not a fair fight. I told this to Chris on the broadcast last night. It's there's a reason boxing and wrestling have weight classes.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
Because you send a 6'10", 270 guy down there, 260 guy down there to face somebody that's 6'6", 195, which Alcorn had. It's that's not good enough to play any defense. And Conversely, he went 12 of 15 and scored 29 points, which is what he should do.
So Hunt, tell me this real quick. What is a successful season for this basketball team this year? In your eyes?
Make the tournament.
Make the tournament? Okay.
Make the tournament. I mean, that's not like some sort of breakthrough. It's not you're not raising a banner, but like if you're looking at, okay, that's a nice year. You get an 11 seed. You go play 18 league games, go 7 and 11 in the league and get a 10 seed or 11 seed.
Okay.
Then play somebody tough, a 7 or 8 seed in the first round, 6 or 7 seed in the first round. Like that's a reasonable go at it.
Yeah.
In a good league. The good thing is, I gotta go to break here, but a good thing is the SEC is not playing very well in November. I looked up at about December 10th or 12th last year, and I went, holy smokes. Like the SEC was beating Kansas and Gonzaga and Duke and Louisville, and I mean they were just blitzkrieging people.
Yeah.
And they're not this year. Like Michigan State punked Kentucky last night.
Kentucky.
You saw Florida go out and get beat in Vegas by Arizona.
Yeah. We'll see Bama tonight too.
It's so. I mean, Kentucky got beat by Louisville. Like it's it doesn't look to be as tough, and that's to be expected. Last night, A&M with a new coach was on the ropes against Winthrop. There's a 3 in the air to beat them. Arkansas was at home. Didn't
they lose?
Arkansas barely won. They had Winthrop had a 3 in the air to beat them. Montana had a lead on A&M with less than a minute to have to go, and both teams ended up winning, but you get the point. Like the league's not playing as well, which is good to hear. All right, let's come back and finish with some Saints talk next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Renaissance Homes and Pools. Renaissance Homes and Pools. They're online at builtbyrenaissance.com. How about under the tree on Christmas, a design for a brand new pool, or just the opportunity to design the pool of your dreams? Joey Blanchard and the folks at Renaissance Homes and Pools are happy to help you out with that. Joey's done it for dozens and dozens of people in the Baton Rouge area. He's a local company. He's the owner. You work with him, the owner of the company, start to finish. The consultation, the design, the dig, the fill, the finish. He's there for all of it. And this software that he's got on the design of these pools is so incredible to look at, to scale. You can put that outdoor kitchen in it, no matter what type of pool you're looking for. Big, huge, sprawling pool, little big cocktail pool, whatever the case may be. Joey can help you out at Renaissance Homes and Pools. Check them out online, builtbyrenaissance.com, builtbyrenaissance.com.
Flight by Yingling is raising the bar by crafting the next generation of light beer. With only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Flight by Yingling. Raise the bar.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environmental impact to help protect our planet. Together, we're fueling our energy future. Atmos Energy.
In South Louisiana, you can always count on good people coming together to help our children.
At Dreams Come True, we grant wishes for Louisiana children with life-threatening illnesses. But to do this, we need funds.
That's why we're trying to raise $100,000 for Dreams Come True by giving away the Blessed Builders Pool.
Make your backyard's dream come true while helping our kids.
Just go to dreampoolla.com and you can find out how your $25 donation might help win you a Duplessis pool.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
Hi, this is Beth Torina. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here, we eat out here, we watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized. It'll be time efficient, and you will have your pool in no time.
This menu is a masterpiece. Delivers every time.
This is the worst party ever. Raisin Cane's!
Let's go!
The party is saved!
Peter, Mr. Billingsley.
Celebrate the holidays with Raisin Cane's chicken fingers. One love.
Supreme Jasmine is premium American-grown rice. From local farms to your...
This is the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
Saints and Falcons coming up this weekend from the Dome. Saints made a little bit of a move today. According to Nick Underhill, NewOrleans.football, the Saints and Brandin Cooks mutually agreed to part ways. Cooks will now be a free agent. We thought Brandin Cooks may have been a target for some at the trade deadline. We know that the Saints were looking to offload anyone that they could. They took a bag of footballs for Trevor Penning, a 6th-round pick in the next year's draft. So obviously there were just no suitors at all for Brandin Cooks. So they couldn't offload him. This is one that was easy to see for me. I did not understand this signing at all when it happened. None, zero, zip. They already had Chris Olave, a shorter, quick receiver. They already had Rashid Shaheed, a shorter speed receiver. Mason Tipson on the roster as well for cheap. Like, to sign him for a 2-year deal worth $13 million made no sense to me whatsoever. And now you look at what the Saints are trying to do offensively, and you see that they are building for the future. Cooks is a win-now piece, unless you find him to be significantly advantageous as a leader to young players on the offense as Kellen Moore tries to install an offense. But I look at this and I go, okay, you see the trade deadline comes and goes. You see Rashid Shaheed move on to Seattle. You think maybe Brandin Cooks' usage rate goes up, his productivity goes up. Instead, he saw his lowest snap percentage of the year. He only played half the snaps in that game, and quickly he was surpassed by Devon Vele, who was in for over 86% of the snaps. That, to me, is the direction the Saints need to go. You don't need to give more snaps to a washed up is strong. He may not play again, but you're a guy who's well past his prime in Brandin Cooks. See what you've got in Devon Vele, who you traded a draft choice for. Put Mason Tipton out there, who's still really cheap and young, and see if he can make some plays on the outside like he's done in a couple of Augusts in a row. No one needs to see Brandin Cooks trying to win on the outside for this Saints organization moving forward. If he can find his way onto another roster, great. If he can't, it is what it is. You've got some young guys you want to look at. Olave is healthy and out there. I mentioned Vele, I mentioned Tipton. You're going to have to add to this position group, absolutely, whether that's an early pick in the draft, find some coins in the free agent couch cushion, one way or another. But Cooks doesn't fit in to the Saints' plans. We talk all the time about the next Saints great team, the next great Saints team, and which of these players has a chance to be on it. Brandin Cooks, no chance to be on the next great Saints team. Certainly not a productive piece to it. So you move on from him. The dead cap hit next year is negligible. It's like $3.2 million. Is that ideal? No, it was a bad contract when you signed it. But is it in any way? Is it going to stop you from doing anything next year? No, it was just a misfire, bad fit, and you move on from it. But again, I hated the sign, so that's a bad thing that you did back in the offseason. But I like the thought. Like, okay, move on. You did this on the field last week with Vele playing almost 90% of the snaps and Cooks playing half. Just move on to the young guys and see what you got. This is an exploratory time. There is 0% of this organization that needs to explore Brandin Cooks. You drafted him. You had him. He toured the league. He came back. You know what he is. He's not helping. Get rid of him. That's fine. See what you got with these guys moving forward on this Saints roster. I realize that having a veteran receiver may be thought as a help to a rookie quarterback. I don't think in this case, when you've got other guys who can do what Brandin Cooks can do. Like, I don't see any reason why Mason Tipton can't fill the role that Brandin Cooks played. Devon Vele is just a different type of receiver who may be able to help you. So diversify your receiving core, see what you got in the youth, and see just how urgent your need is. If you feel like, because you're picking, hypothetically, 6th in the draft, like, who's the best wide receiver available right there? Like, is that what you want to do if Shuck proves he shows you some things down the stretch here? This is a positive for the Saints to move on. The signing was a negative. It was a miss by Mickey Loomis in this front office. Surprise, surprise. But you move on. No harm, really. No awful foul. You weren't going to be good this year anyway. Move on with a new crop of wide receivers. You'll get Polk back next year, so that's part of your plans as well. No more Brandin Cooks in New Orleans. All right, if you're looking for Saints coverage, find it Hunt on Saints. Spent the first 30 minutes of the show talking Lane Kiffin. I played the sound from the teleconference. You can find that at Hunt on LSU. Graham Hall covers Florida for Gators 24/7. He was with us talking Lane Kiffin from the Gainesville perspective. A lot of confidence down there. You can catch that at Hunt on LSU as well. Money's a big deal. This is not even a Lane Kiffin thing, just a head coaching thing. What should LSU spend? I'll talk about that after SportsCenter.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Swing Easy Golf Club in Baton Rouge. Our post is live on Instagram and on Facebook. Go to 1045 ESPN's Facebook and or Instagram page and look at the video of me hitting a golf shot there at Swing Easy Golf Club. I'm going to be there on Sunday, hitting as many golf shots as I've got to hit on the 7th hole at Pebble Beach, which is about 103 yards, until I make a hole-in-one. Your job is to jump in and guess how many shots that's going to take me. You can win a free swag bag from 1045 ESPN. You can win hoops tickets from 1045 ESPN. You can win 2 weeks, maybe 2 hours at Swing Easy Golf Club if you win. So go to Instagram, go to Facebook, and guess how many shots. The guesses are low. A lot of 100, 200, 300s. This may take 3,000 shots. I don't know. But I'll be there on Sunday, 11 o'clock. You can watch it live on our YouTube channel and win if your guess is the closest. It's Swing Easy Golf Club on Seagan at Perkins. They're online at swingeasygcbr.com. It's Swing Easy Golf Club, swingeasygcbr.com.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Supreme Jasmine is premium American-grown rice. From local farms to your table, every grain is supreme. Pick up a bag of Jasmine or any other of our Supreme American rice.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Nicely done, ice cubes.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared toward seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Hi, this is Beth Serena. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here. We eat out here. We watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized. It'll be time efficient, and you will have your pool in no time.
I'm Lawyer Locke Meredith. We are honored and humbled to receive from our clients in Google. Based on 5-star client reviews, the designation of our law firm is highly recommended. Whether you hire us at all, please give us a call, 272-5555. You have nothing to lose.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith. Injuries happen when you least expect them to, making your life more complicated. At Lock Meredith Schoenfagen and Associates, we know this, and we strive to help each of our clients during these times. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call at 272-5555.
Men, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
We typically think of stress as being bad for us. At Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, we are researching.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Nick DeLuca. College football coaching carousel spinning, one seat already filled. Former Penn State head coach James Franklin, introduced as a new HC at Virginia Tech today, says he's excited to put everything he learned at Penn State to good use.
Just going to take all these experiences that I've been able to have and pour them into my time here at Virginia Tech. So excited about the opportunity. Obviously, we've got a ton of work to do. College football's changed. You have the ability to flip your roster a lot faster.
Franklin on the Pat McAfee Show. Virginia Tech has played for just one ACC title in the last 15 years. Elsewhere, Texas head coach Steve Sarkisian pushing back against reports he's looking to leave the program, calling them absolutely untrue and that he's not going anywhere. In the NFL, Shedeur Sanders will make his first career start on Sunday against the Raiders. Head coach Kevin Stefanski announcing the move today, with quarterback Dylan Gabriel remaining in concussion protocol. Shedeur made his debut last Sunday against the Ravens, was just 4 of 16 for 47 yards and an interception.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Canty. Coming up Thursday, from the Cowboys to the Ravens, I'll tell you which teams are facing season-defining games in Week 12. It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Now, The Hunt Palmer Show.
This is a catastrophe.
You are now listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
That's what I wished for when I blew out my candle.
Locking down the middle of the day, live from the Raising Cane studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
The floor is yours.
Wednesday shows brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. We'll talk to JD Piquel in 15 minutes. We'll talk SEC football power rankings at the bottom of the hour. So plenty to do here on this Wednesday. Officially half the work week in the rearview mirror. Thanks for hanging out with us here on what's another wild week. We'll tell you it's not going to be the bulk of this segment because I want to talk LSU here. But Zach Alaverdi, who covers Florida, who's been on this show a number of times, is reporting that Florida is meeting with John Sumrall about their head coaching vacancy. So Tulane's head coach going to have some conversations with the folks at Florida. You can read into that whatever you'd like. My choice to read into it is that Florida is currently in the midst of trying to hire a new football coach, and they're going to assess some options. So I think it would probably suggest, if Zach's report is right, and I have no reason to doubt that it is, that Lane Kiffin has not agreed to a deal with Florida. I think it would make sense that if Lane Kiffin had agreed to a deal with Florida, they're probably not going to interview John Sumrall. But I'm assuming that's probably not the case. So they'll continue to look. And my guess would be that Verge Osbury has got some other phone numbers available to him that he'll look into as well. So we'll kind of leave that there. I want to talk about this aspect of it. The money. A lot of people are discussing the money. And before I get into the specifics of money, I want to have a big picture money talk. Because the thing that I find fascinating is the authority with which people speak about the money and what I deem to be unknowns about the money. And people that have the unknowns, they still speak in authority about the money. Like, I know confidently I could speak to you. I probably won't, but I could speak to you in terms of what the Palmer family needs to be spending on groceries. I know how many people we have. I know what our income is. I know what our expenses are. I know what groceries cost. Like, this is what we should spend. We should not spend that much, way too much. We can't really work off of that much, and I'd rather have better food than that. So this is what we should probably spend. I can speak confidently about that. But I also hear LSU fans, and I have these conversations all the time. So, like, it's just, when I say LSU fans, it's not like complete generality. Like, I'm speaking to actual people. And I tell them, well, there are reports that you're looking at $13 million for Lane Kiffin because that's in the range Kirby Smart is. And I hear LSU fans, well, you can't spend $13 million on a coach. Like, then how are you going to pay the players? And I would say, yeah, I think if you spend $4 million on a coach, you'll probably have more in your collective than if you have $13 million. But do you know where the cutoff is where you can't spend money on players? I don't. Hunt doesn't know. I went on after they fired Brian Kelly and I said, hey, I'm done saying LSU doesn't have any money because every time they need money, they get money. Buy Ogeron out. Done. Hire a new coach, Kelly, $95 million. Hire that staff. Okay, fire the defensive coordinator and the rest of his staff. Done. Hire a new one. Done. Now we got to pay the players. Kelly says we got to buy. Let's go get portal class. Done. Well, that portal class comes in. Kelly, his buyout's massive, can't pay it. Done. Like, I'm just going off what I see. I don't see the couch cushions emptying out. Now, you could maybe point to the fact that Brian Kelly's suing the school because they're trying not to pay the buyout, but, like, I don't know why they're trying to do that. Maybe it's just business and they're trying to save money because saving money is what you're supposed to do. Maybe it's not that they're running out. They're just trying to save. I don't know. That's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is I don't know. I know LSU continues to make these decisions. I don't know how much money LSU has or who's spending it. So I can't speak too authoritatively about that. I also do know, this is another I know, the rules today are not the same as they was 3 years ago. 3 years ago, you could go to any portal player or any high school player and say, how much do you need? Okay, I have that, done, and write the check and hand it to them. That was the rules allowed for that. They technically said you weren't supposed to use it as a recruiting inducement, but nobody enforced that because you couldn't. So you could pay a quarterback $7 million if you wanted to. Bryce Underwood, who knows what he made? You can pay him $10 million. You got a long snapper you really like, $10 grand, $100 grand, love it. Wide receiver, $1 million, signed. You could pay anybody whatever you wanted then. You can't do that now under the rules. The rules say the clearinghouse has to approve the name, image, and likeness deals these players come across. Now, that does not mean that under-the-table stuff can't happen, but it's not the complete wild, wild west it was 3 years ago. I know that. I don't know how those recruiting conversations are going down. I don't know that. But I know that it's not quite what it was a couple of years ago. You had to front-load this year's class until that deadline came in the summer, and then you had to have everything approved by Deloitte. So, like, it's not the wild, wild west anymore. Stand to reason, now I'm speculating, but speculating from a place of knowing the rules, that's probably calmed down a little bit. Not completely. It's not gone, but it's probably calmed down a little bit, where it was just legal to write checks to anybody who would take them. And you've seen collectives dissolve, literally. Now, there are rules that you can pay high school kids, and you still need funds for that. And I'm not suggesting nobody's paying players. They're paying players. But it's a different system than it was a couple of years ago. And then also you've got the revenue sharing piece. The LSU is toward the top of the sport nationally. They're tied with all the SEC teams. They're toward the top nationally in terms of what they can share revenue-wise with their players. My point being, as I put a bow on this whole deal, like, I don't know how much money LSU has. I don't know how close paying a coach $13 million would be to compromising what you can spend on everything else in the football program. Assistants, players, high school recruits, facilities, buyouts. You've still got to pay Brian Kelly, probably. So I don't know how prohibitive the rest of the spending is if you spend 13 as opposed to spending 8. I know that you have $5 million more. But, how prohibitive is it? That matters. And then I keep going back to this point. The coach is the most important thing in college football. The coach is the most important thing. And a winning coach creates more revenue, creates more fan interest, creates more donations, creates that fertile ground of fundraising that you need. And the other thing that I know is that you're not hiring in a vacuum. And I've gotten like some buddies that have texted me like, why don't you hire a coach for $3 million with an escalator based on wins? The governor said this. Why don't you just say you get such and such per win? And if you win a national championship, you get $5 million on top of that. Well, that sounds awesome, but you're in a marketplace. So if you're trying to hire a coach and you're trying to do that, and it sounds great. I would much rather not pay people $50 million because they lost too much and I don't want them to coach. That sounds good to me. But you're in a marketplace and you've got to hire them from places. And LSU is not hiring the offensive coordinator from a high school down the street who'd just be thrilled to take the job for $1 million. Like, you're competing with Florida. So if Florida's got her offer on the table for 7 years and $91 million, like, and you come in and say, hey man, check this out. You win the Natty, we'll give you a $5 million bonus. Now your base salary is $3 million, and we'll give you $1 million every second SEC win. And then if you win the SEC and you get in the playoff, we'll escalate it right here. Like, and then Florida's like, yeah, I just got the $93 million. You're gonna lose. You're still competing in the marketplace. So all these ideas, I just push back on. I like to work off what I know. I know that LSU's always found the money. I know that the rules have changed a little bit as far as paying players. I know that now some of your roster is being paid by LSU's athletic revenue, which it wasn't last year. I know that you're in a marketplace to hire coaches. And when I work off of those, it's just hard for me to go, well, just do it completely differently. Just hire the young guy who's 41, pay him a base of 4, and then incentivize the whole thing. He's gonna laugh and go take the Penn State job, in my opinion. So I'm a little bit puzzled by the confidence with which LSU fans speak to the money aspect of this. I'm standing here in front of a microphone with like no pride. I'm just like, I don't know who's cutting these checks or how much money LSU has. And when I feel like we get a Freedom of Information request that suggests that LSU is paying a football coach $3.4 million per year that nobody really knew of until they started the search, then at that point I'll go, oh, that $800,000 a month they're paying Brian Kelly, that's taking up a lot of their pool of money. They can't really spend. They screwed up that contract, and it's really set the football program back. Like, I'll say that if that comes out. I just haven't seen that yet. So I'm not going to work off the assumption that LSU just simply can't function the football program if they sign a coach to a $13 million a year contract. And I'm not going to suggest that there's just no money to pay players if they do it. You've already got $20 million allocated out of the revenue. Then whatever you can drum up in revenue sharing, in NIL, and I know that LSU's brand is pretty powerful and that LSU athletes are able to get NIL deals. And that LSU does have a department that is, with Playfly, that is helping push people to these big deals. I'm not saying I know all the answers. I'm saying I don't. And that I think that LSU understands, like I do with my groceries, where they stand financially. And they're not going to make a decision they simply cannot make financially. And you might look up and say, well, what about Brian Kelly? It seems like they made it work. Until they haven't made it work, I'm working off the assumption that they can. I said it, just that, it's an assumption. That's all the information I've got at this point. Let's talk to J.D. Pickell next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
One Bath and Closets. OneBathAndClosets.com is the website. David Duvall and his team, 30 years redesigning and remodeling bathrooms and closets. Closet space can be a big deal. What about a brand new custom closet for Christmas? Might be a game changer in your house. We improved our closet space significantly. It was a game changer. You don't have to move to do it. You can just call David Duvall, One Bath and Closets. Let him come in. It starts with the consultation and a questionnaire. He asks you kind of what you got, what are we looking for? He'll design something specifically tailored to your needs. Look at the website. You'll see pictures of their great work. It looks awesome aesthetically. It functions exactly the way you want it to. And they do it right the first time and leave the competition behind. A lot of contractors may try to move quickly, get to that next job, take your check. Something's not right. 5 weeks later, we'll come back, fix that. Never going to happen with David Duvall and One Bath and Closets. He makes you that promise. So go to onebathandclosets.com, request that free consultation. Just talk to David about what he can do for you. I think you'll be thrilled with the result. It's One Bath and Closets. Find them online, onebathandclosets.com.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
Attention diesel mechanics, River Parish Contractors has an immediate full-time opening with benefits. Valid licenses and TWIC card is required to apply. Call or text Big Jake today at 985-479-9858 or go to rpcontractors.com and click on Apply Now. Come be part of the team that values hard work, has a high standard of excellence, and delivers projects on time and safely. River Parish Contractors. Let's get building.
After a decade of working in private duty nursing, I know how hard it can be to find compassionate care for the ones that you love the most. So I started Decision Critical, a premier concierge nursing agency, so we can take care of you wherever you are. Our highly skilled nurses provide exceptional care from the comfort of your own home with personalized packages for short-term, long-term, or even around-the-clock care. Visit us at decisioncriticalbr.com and give us a call today to get started.
I'm lawyer Collins Locke Meredith. Among the most important factors to consider when you're hiring an injury attorney is trust. You trust your attorney will put your interest first, treat you with respect, fairness, and honesty. You trust them to be there for you when you need them. At Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates, thousands of clients have trusted us to represent them, and for good reasons. Please visit us at LockeMeredith.com to learn more, and whether you hire us at all, give us a call at 272-5555. You have nothing to lose.
With all the delicious chicken finger options, it was an impossible decision.
How about a box combo? Good. Now what can I get for you?
No, I want a Caniac combo with extra cane sauce, no slaw, 2 extra toast, and a half sweet tea, half lemonade.
Celebrate the holidays with Raising Cane's chicken fingers. One love.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
Wednesday shows brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools, built by Renaissance.com, built by Renaissance.com. JD Piquel, On 3 Sports, host of The Hard Count. On 3's YouTube channel is with us on Wednesdays. How are you, sir?
Man, I'm doing better now. It's so dark. We only have 2 regular season weekends left, man. We're going to enjoy it.
As far as we know, there's no football left. It's just staring at FlightAware and looking at teleconference transcripts and trying to figure out what Twitter posts mean. So you want to weigh in on any of that?
Man, the Lane Kiffin stuff has been fun to track, hasn't it? I mean, it's at every turn he has a chance to say, "Nope, staying at Ole Miss. I love Oxford. I love it here." Nope, just jump on McAfee and chop it up a little bit. Talk about how I'm excited to be at Ole Miss this week, and we'll see what the future holds. The longer this thing goes, Hunt, I originally was like, why leave Ole Miss? You don't need to leave Ole Miss. I don't think he leaves Ole Miss. The longer this goes and the less declaration we get that he's not leaving Ole Miss, I'm leaning towards him jumping ship and going somewhere else, but we'll see.
You want to throw a guess on that, and then we can talk about real football?
I mean, I'm on radio in Baton Rouge right
you
now.
Are?
Would it be sacrilegious to say LSU?
No.
To not say LSU, rather? I mean, I'll put it this way. I think if the heart wants what it wants, and he wants to be at Florida, then there's no way to quantify that. I know there's family ties there. I know he coached in the state of Florida. I've even read articles that say his son Knox is a Gator fan. Like, if that's the case, I can't quantify that. If it's about winning national championships and it's about being somewhere with the best GM in college football and they won Austin Thomas, like, I think LSU makes the most sense. So I'll go ahead and for the sake of this conversation and for the sake of where I'm at on radio right now, I'll go ahead and say LSU.
All right, we'll see. We're sitting there watching it day after day after day after day. Let's talk about what we've seen on the field. How about the Oklahoma Sooners and where they're positioned at this point? I did not see that coming.
No, I did not see that coming either. Not in the slightest. I think it's a testament to what Brent Venables has been able to do as a head coach. Like, that was one of the storylines that I feel like got discussed sort of lightly at SEC Media Days, but as much as we got excited about John Mateer and what he could be, there was always this sort of like negative back row talk about, well, but is Brent Venables really a head coach? We know he's a great coordinator. Is he truly a head coach? And I think this year, especially post-Ole Miss, to be able to get your team back in the right winning state of mind and to be able to pitch 2 defensive performances where you have 6 turnovers combined, like, I think what he's done to this point is irrefutable when it comes to his chops as a head coach. And I think that's the biggest storyline to me because they've clearly played at a different competitive temperature, and that's made the difference in the last 2 spots on the road.
If you had to pick one team to win the national championship of these 2, only take one, Texas A&M or Georgia, who would you take?
I'd take Georgia, man. And I would not have said that a couple of weeks ago. I probably would have told you I don't know about Georgia's defense. I don't know about the ability to play 4-quarter games, but the way they've looked the last couple of weeks, man, they just look they're at a different speed than everyone else, don't they? Like, if you told Georgia we got to play 5 more games in the regular season, sorry, we had to extend it, the greedy TV people stepped in and gave you a longer season, they'd be like, okay, cool. Where? Parking lot? Backyard? Tomorrow? We will play anybody, anywhere, anytime. We'll be happy doing it. Feels like a lot of teams are running out of gas right now, Hunt. I think Georgia's just getting better and hitting their stride. And I tell you what, I wouldn't want to play them. I think the Kirby traits, I think the way the defense is settled in footing-wise, it feels like they're just looking a little bit more of a cohesive unit. Gunnar Stockton deserves Heisman buzz. I'll take Georgia to win the national championship if I'm given those 2 options.
Let's talk about the playoff rankings last night. What do you make of Tulane jumping in?
So I have a producer for our show that played Sun Belt football at App State, and he made the point on our show. He's like, hey, if you're actually watching these games, Tulane and the American Athletic just overall looks like a better product. I wonder if the committee is going to say, less losses for a Sun Belt team in JMU or better overall product, better overall football being played in the American Athletic and what Tulane's doing. So I guess the big takeaway for me is good for the committee for watching football, huh? Just not tracking standings, actually watching the games. I can't speak to the watch parties that the committee is having because last year it looked abysmal. There was no snacks, there was no apps, there was nobody standing, there was no parlays going. However, they are watching games. I feel good about that, and I feel good that Tulane's in the mix here.
First of all, I want to be very clear. Like, I don't care about Tulane at all. I think there are maybe some LSU fans that don't like Tulane. They're not even on my radar in the least. I just look at the resume, and I look at a team that was completely non-competitive in Oxford and got annihilated by Texas San Antonio. And I go, does that team need to be in my playoff? Like, my answer is no. How do you feel about the G5/G6 invitation on the back end?
Oh, you're going to get me in trouble here, brother.
Yeah.
You're going to get me in trouble here. That's fine. I mean, I think you're saying the quiet part out loud. And, like, I think unless we have a G5 team show up and consistently be what Boise State was last year, where it's like, hey, they could actually not just make the playoff and make some noise, then, like, okay, we can have a different discussion. I don't like that we allocate a spot specifically to the highest-ranked G5 champ when we're admitting in real time last night, hey, we think they're the 24th best team in college football. Okay, that's fine. That's totally fine. We think that, but why do they get a spot at the top 12? Like, I am in the camp of let's reward teams, let's not reward conferences. If we get to a year where there's 3 G5 teams that look like the top 12 teams in college football, put all 3 of them in. I have no problem doing that. But when we're handing out, like, participation trophies, I don't like that formatting. And that goes for the G5, that goes for every conference as well, the ACC, the Big 12, the SEC, the Big 10. Like, we don't need to allocate spots to conferences. We need to allocate spots to teams. and that's my story. I'm sticking to it.
I agree with that completely. Let's move to this coming Saturday. Does Lincoln Riley's team have a chance at Austin Stadium in Eugene?
I definitely think they do. I think it's interesting when you look at how Oregon got their regular season loss this year to Indiana. USC doesn't have maybe the same juice as Indiana does at the spots that rattled Oregon, but they have kind of that same formula. Indiana got Dante Moore off his spot. USC's got a top 15 sack rate in college football. Indiana made plays on the perimeter with Elijah Surratt going over 100 yards. USC's got two receivers that I think both deserve a lot more national attention in Jacoby Lane and Mekhi Lemon. So there's a world here where USC applies the pressure. Oregon has to abandon the run game a little bit because USC's scoring points, and then just all heck is breaking loose. And we got a little Matt Berry update coming in hot at 3:30 Eastern on our Saturday. So I think there's definitely a world where that happens. I think that 9.5 number is way too big, favoring the Ducks. I like Oregon to still win, but I do think USC hangs around and covers.
JD Piquel is our guest, host of the Hard Count on 3 Sports. You can catch him on YouTube daily, talking football. 11 o'clock, ABC, Norman, Oklahoma. Missouri heads there. Oklahoma's gotten a couple of huge road wins. Any chance they're sleeping while Missouri comes in, or are they going to be ready to go on their home field?
Big chance they're sleeping. This is such a treacherous spot. We just talked about it on our show. 11 a.m. local. You just had two emotionally draining wins on the road. You come back home. Everyone's telling you you're a playoff team. And you got to play the best running back in college football, not named Jeremiah Love. Like, that to me, I don't like the way that shapes out. Same kind of deal as last game we just previewed. I think Oklahoma wins. I think they find a gritty way to get it done. But 9.5 for Missouri, I think they cover that number.
Well, certainly. See, and there's just not a lot more to chew on this slate on Saturday as far as top 25 games go. I don't think that you would see an issue with Vanderbilt beating Kentucky. I don't know that I think there are a lot of sleepy spots for the other teams, like maybe Georgia Tech hosting Pittsburgh. Is that one that you would look at as a chance for them to trip up?
You know, I'm looking at that game from Miami. I'm saying, hey, let's go, Pitt. We're going to play all next week. Can we get you ranked? Because Miami, there's a 6% chance they make the ACC title game. But if they're trying to audition for an at-large spot, they were 13 last night, Hunt. Like, I keep saying to myself, there's no way. And then after last night, I'm like, Miami might do this. Like, Miami's one break away and looking good with some style points here in the last couple of weeks from finding their way in as an at-large spot and being ahead of Notre Dame when they get in the same comparative pool. So I'll track that one, obviously, because we're just college football sickos, but I'll also track that one from a Miami fan trying to find our way into this field of 12.
And the last one here, Virginia Tech hires James Franklin to kind of jump into the pool first here. What did you think of that hire, fit, and how it goes?
I think it was a home run for Virginia Tech, which home run gets overused, but legitimately, he built that Penn State roster, yes, through Pennsylvania, but through the DMV area. I think he picks up where he left off there. My biggest takeaway, Hunt, from this was Florida State. What are you doing messing around with Mike Norvell still? Yeah. And I love Mike Norvell, but like you just said, they jumped in the pool first. Florida State's still fully clothed outside the pool gate, like deciding if they actually want to go inside and take a look at the water. Like the fact they are messing around right now and getting the guy they should have hired away from them in the conference is abysmal, absolutely abysmal. And that was my biggest takeaway was Florida State needs to figure it out.
We'll see if we're talking football next week or new LSU coach, and I have no idea at this point, but it's a week away. We'll get there when we get there. JD, enjoy another weekend of football. We'll talk next week.
Appreciate you, Hunt. Looking forward to it.
Absolutely. He's JD Piquel of On 3 Sports. We'll come back with some SEC football power rankings next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Genesis of Baton Rouge. GenesisofBatonRouge.com is the website. Comes with America's best warranty. You make a purchase at Genesis of Baton Rouge, you're getting a powertrain warranty, 10 years, 100,000 miles. You're getting 5 years, 60,000 miles, bumper to bumper. The peace of mind that comes with that, knowing that you don't have to bring it into the shop and what's that going to cost? It's under warranty. Talking about 24/7 roadside assistance, no matter where you may be feeling stranded, you're not. They're coming to get you. And then, of course, you get the complimentary scheduled maintenance for 3 years, 36,000 miles. Valet for those 3 years. So they come to you. They pick the car up, bring it back, get the oil changed, get the wiper fluids, get the air filter done. They bring it back to you, complimentary. You never lift a finger, and while they're at it, you get a loaner. So it's awesome peace of mind, awesome customer service. just part of being a Genesis driver. Find them airline at Pico or online at genesisofbatonrouge.com. Genesisofbatonrouge.com.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Nicely done, ice cubes.
In South Louisiana, you can always count on good people coming together to help our children.
At Dreams Come True, we grant wishes for Louisiana children with life-threatening illnesses. But to do this, we need funds.
That's why we're trying to raise $100,000 for Dreams Come True by giving away the Blessed Builders School.
Make your backyard's dream come true while helping our kids.
Just go to dreampoolla.com and you can find out how your $25 donation might help win you a Duplessis pool.
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
I'm Gabrielle McLeod on behalf of the Louisiana Propane Dealers. I have spent hundreds of hours preparing for scholarship competitions. That preparation paid off when I won the Fitness and Talent Awards along with the title of Miss Louisiana. The Louisiana Propane Dealers are also pretty talented and want you to be prepared for when the power goes out. Visit louisianapropane.com to find out about propane generators and other safety tips. Louisiana Propane, it truly is the fuel for our future.
My father, J.B. Falgu, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even J.B. could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of J.B. Falgu.
Attention diesel mechanics, River Parish Contractors has an immediate full-time opening with benefits. Valid licenses and TWIC card is required to apply. Call or text Big Jake today at 985-479-9858 or go to rpcontractors.com and click on Apply Now. Come be part of the team that values hard work, has a high standard of excellence, and delivers projects on time and safely. River Parish Contractors. Let's get building.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
Kind of a reset today's show. If you missed at the top of the show, Lane Kiffin was on the SEC football teleconference earlier today, and he took 11 questions on the LSU Florida situation. Some of them he answered, and I thought probably stepped out of bounds on. Some of them he said, I'm not going to talk about that. But we talked about it at the top of the show. If you missed it, it's on YouTube, Hunt on LSU. We actually went to Gainesville and talked to a reporter and Graham Hall, who covers Florida for 24/7, kind of got the Gainesville perspective, and he put Kiffin to Florida at 70%. Well, since he said that, Zach Alvaverdi, who's with On 3, said that Florida was now reaching out to John Summerall. And I don't suggest that I'm telling you that if Florida's calling John Summerall, they clearly know Lane Kiffin's not going there. Like, that's possible, but I'm certainly not reporting that. I think that it's conceivable that Florida's just doing a coaching search. They fired their coach. We're talking to Lane Kiffin. We've made an offer there. Let's talk to some other people and see if we can make sure. Because you are, I hope LSU is talking to multiple people, right? Because you can't be just standing there at the altar holding your hands and then like, hey, he says, well, I'm going to stay at Ole Miss or I'm going to go to Florida. And you're like, well, now what? And you got Penn State in the market, and you've got Auburn in the market, and you got Arkansas in the market, and we'll see what Florida State does. And like, you got to figure out what you're doing. So hopefully LSU's having the same conversations that it appears Florida's having. we'll figure out, I guess, in time what Lane Kiffin decides he is doing. We're writing about it, LouisianaSports.net. We're talking about it here. If you want the LSU-centric pieces to our content, you can find it at Hunt on LSU, wherever you find your podcast. Wednesday show is brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. Let's do some SEC football power rankings.
Hunt's SEC Power Rankings.
Texas A&M! Look, it was a bad first half. Awful first half. Very good second half, and teams play bad halves. They should have paid more dearly for their atrocious half. They didn't, because South Carolina should disband the football program immediately and fire their coach and really send everyone on their way after that disgraceful second half performance. But A&M won the game. I'll leave them where they are.
The Georgia Bulldogs.
Georgia moves up to number 2. Nice job there. Alabama had occupied that spot. Bulldogs really flexed their muscles on Texas. Texas is talented. They've got issues on offense, but Georgia overpowered them on both sides of the football. That's impressive. I asked J.D. Pickell about what he thought was a national championship contender. I believe that for Georgia right now. I've got them at 2.
The Oklahoma Sooners.
I can't just leave Oklahoma sitting there anymore. Like, that's going on the road to Neyland and winning, going on the road to Bryant-Denny and winning. Their quarterback's healthy now. I really think that compromised them against Texas. How much? Who knows? But it mattered. That's impressive stuff by Oklahoma. They're a good football team. They got a great defense and a veteran quarterback. I don't know that I'm telling you that they're a true national championship threat right now, but they're right now a real playoff threat. I don't know if LSU is going to derail them next week. So impressive stuff by Brent Venables. Got them at 3.
The Ole Miss Rebels.
I'll leave Lane Kiffin's team at 4. Their only loss is on the road at Georgia, who's the championship contender, and they led that game by double digits, or by 2 scores in the fourth quarter. They're good. Their coach is good. I hope he doesn't coach any more games at Ole Miss, and I hope he coaches a lot at LSU. It's a good team. Whether or not they're going to win the Egg Bowl, coach with an interim guy or Lane Kiffin, or go to the playoffs with Lane Kiffin, I don't know what's going to go on, but the body of work they put together and the team that's going to practice today, that's 4th in the SEC.
The Alabama Crimson Tide.
Backed Alabama up to number 5. They were at 2. They got issues. They can't run the ball. They don't stop the run great. That's a bad recipe when you start playing really good teams. You got to play Georgia again. You got to play Ole Miss. You got to play Ohio State. You got to play some of these teams that can really play defense and can really run the ball. Could be trouble. Oklahoma can play defense, and they run it a little bit. They beat Alabama in Tuscaloosa. So the Tide, not a disaster, not out of the playoff, but I got them at 5.
The Tennessee Volunteers.
Vols at 6. Not any really impressive wins on the resume. They lead the SEC in passing. They've got an identity on offense. Their defense is not great, but this is where you start to get to the significant flaws. I've got Tennessee at number 6.
The Vanderbilt Commodores.
I'm going to pick Tennessee to beat Vanderbilt next week, I think. So I'm not going to move Vanderbilt ahead of them and then make that proclamation. We'll see what the line is, what I pick for a number. Not that that matters. I'll lose the game anyway. But I think Vanderbilt's a little bit worse than Tennessee. I think they're good. I think they're a threat to make the playoff. They're going to beat Kentucky this week, I think, and then we'll see what happens in Knoxville. Vanderbilt at number 7.
The Missouri Tigers.
Missouri, look, quarterback's out. You can still run the ball very well. The defense is pretty good. We'll see what happens with their coach. Not any impressive wins, not any significant wins by my estimation. I don't give you a ton of credit for running Mississippi State off the field. They're right in the middle of the pack. 8.
The Texas Longhorns.
Texas gets dinged for last week. I was creeping them up. The offense looked like they were playing well. You trust the defense, and then they go to Athens. Just get punked. And like, they're not the only team that's going to go to Athens and get punked. Kirby's lost there one time in the last 4 years, maybe 5. It was Bama this year. Tough place to play, but Texas proved on Saturday they're not among the nation's elite. And so you bump them back to 9 in this.
The LSU Tigers.
Tigers win with a backup quarterback, beat Arkansas, played pretty well on defense to do it, not enough to move them up considerably. And the teams behind LSU, I think, are bad football teams. LSU's not a bad football team, they're just not a very good one.
The Kentucky Wildcats.
Whatever. I mean, Kentucky's here at 11. I think they're bad. I think they're real bad. But they beat Florida by 1,000. So I'm not going to just immediately move Florida up. And Florida looks lost anyway. So I don't know what else to do with Kentucky but put them at 11th. I shudder at that thought because of how little I think of Kentucky. But I don't have another place to put them.
The Florida Gators.
I mentioned this. Kentucky embarrassed Florida 2 weeks ago. What am I supposed to just forget all about that? Like, Florida's got some talent, and they played Ole Miss tough last week. But, Kentucky played Ole Miss tough in the beginning of the season. So I can't in good conscience. I don't always go head-to-head, but this head-to-head was pretty recent, and it was 1,000-7. So I got Florida back at number 12.
The Mississippi State Bulldogs.
Just when State was making some progress under Jeff Levy, just when I thought they were moving up the pecking order, playing pretty well, playing teams tough, got their first win in 18 tries, you go to Missouri, face a backup quarterback, and it's just a whitewashing. Tough for State, but the teams behind them, not very good.
The Arkansas Razorbacks.
Arkansas couldn't even score on Saturday. That's supposed to be their thing, is scoring points, and they couldn't score any points on LSU. Taylor Green's still good. They don't ever win. They haven't won a game yet. They're lucky I don't put them at 16, but I can't put them ahead of Mississippi State right now.
The South Carolina Gamecocks.
They're lucky. They're lucky I don't put them last. I probably should put them last, but I think the team behind them is real stinky. But that second half, that's embarrassing. You know what? Change the power ranking. South Carolina's last.
The Auburn Tigers.
Auburn's now 15th. That's the first ever mid-power rankings shift in the rankings.
It's an honor to do that.
Auburn is 15th and South Carolina is 16th for that second half. Auburn, terrible football team. Decent defense, atrocious offense, second quarterback, DJ Durkin, interim coach, looking for another coach. Don't know what they're going to do. Is Summerall going to go there? I don't know. Reasonably talented, really good wide receivers. Can't win a game. Got them at 15. And then South Carolina 16.
The South Carolina Gamecocks.
Take your place, Gamecocks. I'm embarrassed for you. I'm embarrassed for Shane Beamer. Embarrassed for the entire state of South Carolina. You think I'm salty about that second half?
I mean, you should be, Hunt. I mean...
It was 30-3.
Exactly. But, deep down, I know you knew deep down in your heart.
I did. I said it.
You knew.
It was 30-3. And, I didn't even think for a second South Carolina was going to win that game. And then the first drive of the second half, A&M goes right down the field for a touchdown, and you look at it and go, now it's 30-10. That's striking distance. Now it's 30-17. Yeah. We'll forget it.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even like they ran any clock or made it tough on A&M. Just
3 and outs.
Right down the field every time.
Yeah.
Awful. Disgraceful.
But I will say this. Even though you just bumped Auburn up, and I know you're down and out on Auburn.
Yes, I am.
I'm feeling pretty confident about Auburn against Bama Iron Bowl. I don't know. A lot of weird stuff happens.
Weird things happen in the Iron Bowl. Not this time.
I don't know. It's at nighttime, too. Hey, just remember this 2 weeks ago that Jordan said, I like Auburn in that game.
These might be our last power rankings.
Oh, well.
Because, maybe I can do it after the regular season concludes. I can. Because, next week is really condensed. We don't have Thursday, Friday shows. Yeah. And I'm going to do picks on Wednesday. So I probably won't do power rankings and picks.
You should.
People need my picks to fade them to get wealthy for Christmas presents. So I can't eliminate the pick segment.
Okay, so I see you still have your week 1. You should just compare your week 1 to the last year.
I do. That's how we do it. And I don't know what the week 1 says. I guess I'll got to take a look at that down the I got a feeling things are a little out of whack.
Oh yeah, I just looked. They are out of whack. So that would be a good. That'd be a good.
I'm
segment.
sure Vanderbilt's last.
Let's see. No, it's not. You was actually kind of.
Did I have State last?
Yes, you did.
Yeah, State not good. They're going to go 1-7. That's still not very good. All right, that's it for Power Rankings here on this Wednesday, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. We'll step aside. I promised some baseball talk. You're getting 3 minutes of baseball talk before Take It or Leave It when we come back.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Fired up to tell you about our friends over at Marucci and the Hitter's House here in Baton Rouge. It's an incredible warehouse sale that is coming up in the near future. You're not going to want to miss Hitter's House. This is going to be an incredible opportunity at savings on awesome baseball and softball equipment. Coming up on November the 28th is the start. So you're looking at right after Thanksgiving. If you've got some youth baseball players in your house, some youth softball players in your house, you're going to want to step by so many great brands and products. Marucci, Victus, Balm, Lizard Skins, The Stable. Marucci and Victus are the official bats of Major League Baseball. You get the best deals on top baseball equipment right there at Marucci's Hitter's House. Fast pitch athletes, you already know about the Marucci Osora. You got to come check it out. The hottest new fast pitch is taking over. You can get it at the Hitter's House. You can go on the Marucci campus tour. You get 20% off in the Hitter's House that same day. So for more information and tickets for the campus tour to get your savings, additional savings at this incredible event, go to maruccisports.com/campus-tour. That's maruccisports.com/campus-tour. tour. Y'all know about Marucci. You know they're incredible people, incredible operation here in Baton Rouge. Go check out the Hitter's House in Baton Rouge.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environmental impact to help protect our planet. Together, we're fueling our energy future. Atmos Energy.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Every winner knows a great play starts with a solid game plan and the right team by your side. At Sunshine, we're here to keep your operation running strong. From tractors to harvesters, we've got the John Deere equipment you need to tackle every job with confidence. Because when the work's done right, there's more time for the things that matter, like cheering on your favorite team. Make Sunshine Quality Solutions part of your playbook this season and learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com.
I'm Lawyer Locke Meredith. If you're battling an insurance company because of a wreck not your fault and they're not calling you back or being fair, whether you hire us at all, give us a call, 272-5555, or email LockeMeredith, Sean Fagan and Associates. You have nothing to lose.
Hello, I'm Collins Meredith. If you've been injured on the job, you'll likely have a workers' compensation claim, but you may also have a tort claim, which opens up significant recovery rights not normally available for a work injury. If this is you, call us or come see us at Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
Promise you a little bit of baseball. I'll give you a little bit of baseball here, about 3 minutes. If you like to read about baseball, you can at LouisianaSports.net. I have a little piece up on what I saw on Sunday out at the box. I was most impressed with William Schmidt and his outing back on Sunday. Really thought he threw the ball excellently well. Fastball is consistently in around 95, 96, bumping up to 97 miles an hour. Really commanding the baseball. The breaking ball was excellent. He was throwing a loopier breaking ball and then a harder breaking ball. And he had 5 strikeouts that I saw in that outing, which was really impressive. I really liked what I saw from him in that outing. He is competing with a lot of guys for spots that I contend right now are behind Kason Evans. I think Kason Evans is very clearly the lead dog in this pitching rotation, but there are a lot of guys behind him. I think Zach Cowan is an obvious choice behind him. I did not see him pitch this weekend. I think that Cooper Moore from Kansas, who was their ace last year, who was very similar to Zach Cowan, and that he's kind of a right-hander, low 90s, change-ups, breaking balls, starter profile. Those two guys, I think, are obviously in the mix. And then there are a number of other guys. Like I would forget somebody if I wanted to start rattling off names. But Schmidt is right there in the middle of that for sure. And I'm excited about that. I'm excited about his potential, and I'm excited about the fact that he's not going to be asked to do something that is out of his comfort zone at this point. He's not going to be thrust into a duty. He might be given an opportunity, but he's not going to be thrust into a duty. And I think that's great. He's got to take a jump because he didn't throw nearly enough strikes last year in SEC play. The numbers were awful last year as far as throwing strikes in SEC play. But when you consider the stuff that I saw, it was awesome to watch on Saturday. He was locked in and looked really impressive, and hopefully that continues. I want to be clear about what he was facing on the opposition. Stephen Milam didn't play Sunday. Jake Brown didn't play Sunday. Derek Curiel didn't play Sunday. Chris Stanfield didn't play Sunday. Zach York didn't play Sunday. A lot of the guys that LSU is going to count on in their lineup were not in either lineup, as they were kind of World Series thing, the Chief versus Jamie World Series. But still, the fastball topping out at 98 and getting 6. He struck out 6 in 5 innings, I should say. That's impressive stuff. Every out he got was via the strikeout. I liked what I saw from a couple of left-handed pitchers from LSU on Sunday. Ethan Plog and Santiago Garcia. Plog's a junior college guy. Garcia's from Oregon. Plog is one of those goofy lefties. Got kind of elbows and kneecaps flying around. He short arms the ball. It's a weird left-handed at bat. I think that's a guy that can be used in short stints. Garcia's a little bit more traditional. He's got a more fluid wind up, a little bit more high-end stuff, but it just doesn't have the deception. I checked in with somebody in the program after I watched that on Thursday, and just kind of said that these guys look kind of like leveraged left-handers that they could have big bullpen roles, and that was exactly the sentiment. Got a long way to go before we get there, but the feeling was that those two guys could be counted on as left-handed bullpen options. You've certainly got other lefties on the staff. You've got Cooper Williams, obviously, and so I think they're okay from a left-handed perspective. So there's a little baseball for you here on this Wednesday. Now take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Presented to you by Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer, crafted by America's oldest brewery. Today's hottest stories in sports, news, and sometimes even Hunt's life. The question is, will he take them or leave them?
Flight by Yingling, next generation of light beer. Just looking at 2.6 carbs, 95 calories, light, refreshing, crisp, flavorful, everything you're looking for in a light beer. Flight by Yingling, next generation of light beer.
Okay, we're going to start this off with something we haven't done before with hockey. So Florida
my goodness.
Yeah. So Florida Panthers player Eetu Luostarinen, I had to go look that up on Reddit how to pronounce it, is out for a week because of severe burns he received in a barbecue accident. Barbecue burns, take it or leave it.
I mean, I don't have a choice to take it. The guy got injured. He's out there trying to whip something up, and he's not being careful enough. It's like I tell my soon-to-be 4-year-old all the time, are you being careful? Yeah. No, we got to be careful. I have not suffered a significant kitchen incident yet with the amount of cooking I've done. I felt like I was close on the knife-to-finger situation at times.
I've seen that before.
And certainly there's been a situation where it's been a little bit hot, but never like a, hey, I can't go play hockey. It's too burned.
From grilling.
That's a bad scene.
Bad scene. So speaking of bad scenes, Kendrick Perkins said, I think this was yesterday, on the Road Trippin' podcast that Zion Williamson is a culture killer. And this is where I quote, Zion completely effed up that organization since they drafted him, top to bottom. You can't depend on him. Is Perk spitting? Take it or leave it.
I'll leave it.
Leave it alone.
He's not blameless.
Yeah, he's not blameless.
Like, what piece of the pie is his? You got Gale, you got Lauscha, you got...
Yeah, David Griffin before you had Joe Dumars.
Yeah, David Griffin. You got, obviously, Willie Green.
Yeah,
you've got B.I. You've got... I mean, there's just a lot. And then you got Lady Luck as well, like whatever. It's not great over there. So, Zion's not blameless here, but I'm certainly not throwing 88% of it on him. He's a top pick. He's a monster talent. He hasn't stayed healthy. How much of that is because he's not in shape? How much of it is bad luck? How much because he's just a genetic freak? Who's to say? I'm not absolving him, but it's not as bad. He didn't destroy the organization.
No, I mean, this organization was already destroyed, but he definitely ain't elevated us. He definitely ain't the savior that he was promised to be.
No, he's not.
Okay, last but not least, you're a relationship guy. You and Cassie, relationships. Bill Belichick was spotted at cheerleading competition in Raleigh, North Carolina,
Yeah.
supporting his girlfriend, Jordan Hudson, who is a member of a co-ed adult cheerleading team. This is a good boyfriend move. Take it or leave it.
I'm torn on this, honestly.
Why are you torn, man?
Here's the deal.
It's a good boyfriend.
They're not in everyone's situation. He's worth tens of millions of dollars.
73.
He's 73. He's a celebrity.
Jordan's my age.
She doesn't really need to be doing the adult cheerleading thing. Like I feel like I'm not being fair to her here, but like that's just not where he needs to be. Go do something more fun than that.
It's not a good boyfriend, but it's a support, man. You know, I got support my girlfriend.
This relationship doesn't work. It doesn't work if she's on the adult cheerleading team and this famous 73-year-old is over there miserable in the corner in some hooded sweatshirt.
In the corner, yeah.
This doesn't work. These two people do not need to spend any more time together. It doesn't work. Find someone else.
Well, we're going to have to
leave it alone.
We'll leave it, and that's it for Take It or Leave It.
I would have. This is the last guy in sports I would have thought this would have come from.
100%.
He can't even be bothered to answer a reasonable press conference question on a Monday of an NFL weekend. Yet he's schlepping around at a adult cheerleading competition
In the corner, like you said, with the hoodie. Everything.
This is crazy. Change of fortune. I don't understand. That's it for the show today. Opened up with Lane Kiffin on the teleconference. It was something. We talked about it. Hunt on LSU is where you can find it. Talked about it from the Florida perspective with Graham Hall. You can find that at Hunt on LSU as well. We talked a little Saints, moving on from Brandin Cooks, J.D. Bickell, SEC Power Rankings. Catch our show on demand if you missed it. Matt's going to drive you home next on AFR. I'm out of here. We'll see you tomorrow for a Thursday edition. The Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Hi, this is Beth Torino.